Good afternoon. I call this meeting of the Veterans and Military Affairs Finance and Policy Committee to order. It is the 6th of March, and I would like to ask you all to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Representative Hudella, would you like to move the minutes for February 27th?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have minutes, and now we have Representative Chair Howard to present House Files 1105 and 1106, accompanied by Commissioner Tinklenberg.
Hi, Chair Newton. Thank you. It's an honor to be before this committee presenting this bill and to highlight this project so vital to our community and region in the state. This bill would help create a veterans village and housing for veterans and Minnesotans in our community and our region at a time when it's needed desperately so. For folks that are familiar with Richfield, you'll know that our American Legion post 435 sits on Portland Avenue adjacent to Veterans Park and has been a staple for generations. Our post was chartered in 1927 and still has over 700 active members. And as folks are aware, you know, our legions are struggling to stay afloat, and this property in Richfield has more than $6 million in maintenance needs. In search of a path forward at the site, local leaders have created a vision called Veterans Village, a project that will create nearly 200 units of housing with the post maintaining its presence on site. This key asset will include a veteran's preference for housing, include housing at a range of incomes, and an opportunity for services for veterans at a vital location in our region as well. You know, our testifiers will speak in greater detail, but I think what I mainly wanted to share about this is I've learned about this project and toured the site along with legislators. You know, our Legion is proud to be a part of our community, and they're proud that they've developed a plan that will actually strengthen our community, that will make sure that they have a place for another generation to come and invite more folks into our community to be part of it. It's really an exciting and special project, and I'm excited to have a discussion about it here today. And I also wanted to thank Representative Greenman, who's been my partner working on this project for a few years, has sort of handed the baton off to me, and it's something that I think should engender a lot of support, and look forward to the discussion.
Thank you, Representative Howard. And I just want to mention, I believe I carried this in the Senate when it was came up the last time. So,
Chair Newton, how could I miss mentioning that? Thank you, Chair.
I'm saying that only because I'm really impressed with the project itself. Mr. Tinklenberg, if you'd like to give us your name and your testimony, please.
Mr. Chairman and members, my name is Al Tinklenberg. I'm a part of the consulting development team that's working with the Post on this project. We appreciate very much the opportunity to be here today to talk with you. I know that some of you are familiar with it, have been out there, toured it. As Representative Howard said, this is a unique site in terms of it being surrounded by the park, the Veterans Memorial that's already there, the ice arenas, the water park, the transit that's been developed and enhanced along Portland and along 66, which gives it tremendous access. It's close to the VA, it's close to downtown, it's close to the airport. I do work with a group that does multifamily housing around the Twin Cities area. And we have never encountered a site like this in terms of what it provides as an opportunity for this kind of development. And I have to say, as someone who was brought into the project It's been incredible to see the passion and commitment on the part of the members of the Post, as Representative Howard said, to maintain their presence. It would have been easier, given all of the issues that they're facing, to just kind of surrender. But this is not a group inclined to surrender, and they are committed to maintaining and enhancing their role in the community, their service to the community, their mission to veterans that this project represents. And we're very excited about the opportunity to be a part of that and to see that move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Tinkleberg. This is an informational hearing, by the way. We're not taking action on it, but it's give the committee a chance to hear about what I think is a very exciting project for housing and for veterans and to keep our facilities open. As you know, we're losing VFWs and Legions all the time, and this is a chance for the one to stay open. Representative Greenman, would you like to comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Representative Howard, and thank you. I think we did this bill together last year when this was in my district, and I lost it because of redistricting, but Representative Howard has been a great partner, and thank you all for having us out there. I know that there was a bipartisan members of legislators who went out to actually visit with, and were invited to the meeting afterwards, but did a presentation. And so I sort of echo that. And I'm really excited to see, I'm just reading the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners, I think this happened afterwards, but a real focus on as we think about both the site and the housing. And in this committee, we talk a lot about both veterans' homelessness and just the need for affordable housing, the rent subsidies available to veterans whose incomes is at 50% of AMI, because I think that in addition to providing that important space for the Legion, and in addition to providing what I think will be a real asset to the city, it's really important that it is rooted in the community and the place where the site originally comes from, which is serving veterans and thinking about actually a village where there are veterans living. So I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to supporting and helping, especially on that housing front. I know that the commissioner has been engaged as well about how we can make sure that it has the services and the resources that will ensure that low income and veterans who need housing will have access.
Good. Representative Weens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank Representative Howard and Mr. Tinklenberg. I think this is just an awesome idea. I'm kind of, tapping into all the great things that are happening, but obviously we have an issue with our veteran service organizations that are finding themselves on tough times. And my hope is, with that alert and this particular bonding request, that maybe this is really a model for how we go forward, and we should learn from this. And our veterans are a very cherished group, and of course this committee, weekly we hear a lot of different things, but this one, I'm really excited about it. I remember going to 435 and having some great meals there back in the day, and the park is wonderful, and it is, I think, really an aplomb group that can see this and that we can move forward. And I think there's some hope for other struggling organizations to get maybe a pathway forward from this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Weens. You're echoing my feelings as well. Representative Hudella.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Love the bill, love the concept. I really do think it's the way forward. Lifetime VFW member, Legion member, those organizations are really, really struggling. And as long as I'm on the record, I'll throw out that taking away pull tabs isn't going to help with that. Now, granted, not the discussion of today.
It's beyond
However,
the scope here.
Roger, Mr. Chair. Back to the subject. I do, just out of curiosity, who runs all of this once it's built, right? VFW and Legion members are awesome, but maybe not equipped to manage a 200-unit building. So just curious, does it belong to the city? Does the city, is there a management group that's outside the scope of the VFW or Legion?
Mr. Tinklenberg?
Mr. Chairman and Representative, it's a very good question and one that Legion has focused on. They agree with you that they're not in a position to manage this kind of a facility. And so there will be a professional management company that will be brought in to do that. We are working with a private sector company that manages restaurants, establishes restaurants and banquet facilities, who will run that portion of the facility as well. So while the Legion continues to be the organizing entity for the project, it will be managed professionally by organizations that they will contract with to do that.
Thank you. Representative Norris?
Thank you, Chair Newton. Just wanted to say that it's always great to have a constituent come testify at the legislature, especially when it's one as distinguished as Commissioner Tinklenberg. This is a great project. I'm excited to be a co-author on the bills, and I had the fortune of serving on the Housing Committee with Chair Howard, and we have a lot of discussions about the need to provide housing across the entire spectrum, whether that's deeply affordable housing, workforce housing, manufactured housing. One piece we haven't talked a lot about in our committee yet is housing for our veterans. So I'm excited to see this come forward. It sounds like a fantastic project, and will be another kind of, as we talk about in the Housing Committee, a tool in our toolbox to make sure that we've got affordable housing for all our neighbors here in Minnesota.
Good. Thank you, Representative. Representative Coulter?
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I recognize we are approaching the point where everything's been said, but not said by everybody. But I just want to sort of join the bandwagon and thank Representative Howard for bringing this forward. I think like just about everybody in the Bloomington, Richfield, Edina, and South Minneapolis area, I've had a beverage or two at the Richfield Legion, and it's definitely a place that serves the community. I mean, this is even beyond, I think, what we all know that Legions do. This is a special place in Richfield, and really excited to see this kind of unique approach to housing and redevelopment even move forward. And as a former HRA member, that's always exciting to me as well. So thank you.
Good, thank you. Representative Howard, any closing comments?
Chair Newton, I need to come to present bills and veterans more often. No, but honestly, the reason why I think the discussion is what it is because this really is an innovative project that creates so many different wins and benefits. And to Representative Ween and Representative Hudella's point about this being a model, as I've talked to our Legion members, what I've heard them say is they've talked with others, that's what they're seeing as well. And as they share this idea, you can see sort of the light bulbs going off. And so I think seeing something like this move forward could have some benefits down the road all across the state. And I think that's how folks see it. And so I'm excited, really appreciate the discussion and the support, and look forward to finding a path to move this forward. Thank you.
Good, and thank you both, and thank you for coming and making this presentation. Good. Next, we have Representative Greenman with House File 2373.
Is this?
This is
Saturday.
So
We're
many
gonna-
bills.
Yeah, Representative Hudella and I are going to do it together.
okay, good.
Just keeping track of the bill number. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and after talking to the committee administrator, I think my motion is to refer House File 2374 to the bonding committee. Oh, sorry. My motion is to lay this over for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative Hudella and I have both been working on this, and so we're going to present together. And I'm really excited to talk about this bill for every third Saturday. It's an organization that's serving veterans and helping veterans find the path and their purpose after military service. The story of the organization starting as volunteers who every third Saturday would provide the basic necessities for homeless veterans out of a parking lot. And it has really grown to ETS, an organization that's providing veterans with emergency service, workforce training, and courses like the Warrior's Path to support healing and growth. And they have this beautiful new building in my district on 54th and 43rd Avenue. It's near the VA hospital and the Minneapolis Veterans Home that provides a community-oriented space, a gym and facilities, as well as a coffee shop, Rick's Coffee Bar, which is really a space for community and connection. And this summer I got a chance to visit, and Tom McKenna, who you're going to hear from in a second, gave me a tour, and I can tell you that this place was bustling with activity. There was a room full of veterans participating in the Warrior's Path, veterans shopping at the free retail store, coffee shop with good coffee, filled with both folks who were part of ETS, who were there for services, and also folks from the neighborhood. And they were just opening that beautiful new gym. And we are really grateful to have ETS in that they made Nokomis East neighborhood its home. It's the VA hospital, the Veterans Home, which we're going to talk about a little later, right across Hiawatha. They're important pillars of that, of East Nokomis and of the community, and having ETS there has been really important for both serving those folks, but also they have invested in the neighborhood. I think when I was there, they were talking about neighborhood night out and really integrating into that neighborhood. So I am really grateful and proud that ETS is in our district and working on the work that they're doing and working to build. And I'm going to turn it over to Representative Hudella to talk a little bit more about the bill and the work that ETS is doing to support veterans.
Representative Hudella.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and just wanted to say thank you to Representative Greenman as well for allowing me to come up and co-present. This is a really great group, and for the folks on the committee, I know you all understand how critical I am of nonprofits a lot of times, and it's not only are they doing good work and doing a heartfelt mission, but are they doing good business on the business side and on the nonprofit side as well? So my very first question to Mr. McKenna that you'll hear from in a few minutes was, what's your charitable giving percentage? What's your annual budget? The tough questions, right? And Tom knew those off the top of his head. So not only a great mission and work, but a great business too that's doing things the right way. So with the appropriation, every third Saturday has been dealing with a growing amount of emergency requests from veterans that typically aren't able to be covered through MACV or other MDVA entities. So they've got a niche of being able to help veterans in our Minneapolis, St. Paul community with emergencies that most other organizations can't help with. So out of the $100,000 annual appropriation, $55,000 of that would be used to help with additional emergency requests from the veteran community. And I know Tom will speak a little bit about their gap right now and the amount of requests they receive, along with what they can actually fund to date. The other part of the appropriation, $45,000 of this $100,000, will go to paid internships for the veterans that they're servicing. And one of the key things that every third Saturday does that a lot of groups don't do is they work extensively with the veteran community to prepare them to get out of the position that they're in. Their Warrior's Path course is a great example of that, and their internship program is another great example. If they're dealing with a veteran who's suffering from PTSD, is on the fringe of homelessness, isn't employed, they'll take that individual through their internship program and say, hey, well, we're going to help get you back on the right track, and it starts right here. We're going to be able to pay you as an intern to work in the coffee shop, have value by working in our warehouse and in our storefront, so that you're giving back to our veteran community on a daily basis, while you're also filling that gap in employment before you move on to the next stage of your life. So a group that has a giving percentage in the 80 percentile, which is great, but doing some really meaningful work, and I know that these dollars will be well spent. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hudella. And Mr. McKenna, would you like to come up and testify?
Mr. Chair, members, I am a recent graduate of Warriors Path. I didn't know Tom was going to be here today. I'm here for an American Legion function. Warriors Path is absolutely incredible. Sorry. Sorry. Kurt Retcher. I recently graduated cohort 10 with Warriors Path, and I was in class with people who were struggling with homelessness. A 69-year-old lady who told me about how she had to fight a cold dumpster open to get food. And, oh, thank you. And it was powerful. These are people. These are people who served our country and did an amazing job, and life handed them a rough time. And Tom's finding a way to help these people back. I didn't have that rough time, but I can appreciate what they had, and I have gratitude that I was able to meet these people and have them in my lives, and now I consider them friends. We started a group chat where even after graduation now, we're posting things we're happy for, we're grateful for, and the way things are going in our life. So Tom McKenna's the real deal. He's getting it done over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for this rather unorthodox presentation. Mr. McKenna, if you'd like to identify yourself for the record, please.
Well, besides saying thank you for the opportunity, I think I'm done. No, in all seriousness, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you to both representatives for sponsoring the bill. And it's so important to us as an organization not to become programmatic, but to make sure that we're community-centered. And being community-centered means that every person counts. We're not shoving people through a program, although we do have programs. We're making sure that each individual is being supported in a way that helps them. And at times that's labor-intensive, and at times that is financially laborious. So we're here today really to look at two aspects of what we do. One's emergency assistance. In 2022, we budgeted $25,000 as an organization. We ended up spending $52,000, and we had to turn down numerous requests, many requests. And 2023 is already showing itself to be a difficult year in terms of budgeting and maintaining that budget. So the funds would be used to augment what is already being done by good organizations like MACV, by MDVA, who obviously are in the space and are doing things for veterans who need financial support. A couple of examples of where we fall in is we get frequent calls from VA social workers, both at the hospital and both at the downtown facility of the CRRC. A lot of those requests have already gone through other organizations and been denied. And an example of that would be a mattress. A veteran gets housed, gets an apartment, but doesn't have a mattress to sleep on. We feel like that's not only wrong, but what it does is it demoralizes that veteran. What we're doing, we have what we call it the 90-day window. We have 90 days to come and support that veteran in ways such as that before they begin to make a U-turn back to where they were before. And we don't want MACV and MDVA to do all the work to get the veteran housed and then have them do a U-turn because they don't have a mattress to sleep on. It's demoralizing, and frankly, it stunts the growth of people who have got a chance for a fresh start. And so, in addition to that, we have veterans internships, and we felt that there was a gap in that most programs were focusing on full-time employment, and we felt, what if we came in with part-time employment that prepared people for full-time employment? Because it was the same issue we were seeing. We say, oh, Bob got a job, isn't that great? But 2 months later, Bob's back to see us saying, oh, I lost that job or I quit. They just weren't ready yet. And so we built the internship to function as a place where you can make a mistake and it's okay. It's a place where you can practice getting to work on time, being ready to work, being coachable, being prepared to conduct customer service, to be a good employee. And so when we partner with full-time employers, we're confident that we've seen enough of this individual do the right things that we can recommend them for full-time employment. And that's already happening. And so we're very proud of that. Both programs have been successful, but we're limited by the funding that we have. We're a small organization that simply relies on private donations. So this is a huge appropriation for us and for the veterans that we support. And just wanted to say thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Mr. McKenna. And representatives, do either of you or both of you have closing comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank Tom, too, for taking the time to be here. Tom's also a Marine Corps veteran himself, too, and like a lot of the bills that we see in here, to me, as a veteran also, the most powerful times come when we help our own. And just really proud to have Tom here, proud to be working with Representative Greenman on this, and I think money well spent on some folks that definitely deserve it, that right now a big percentage of them are kind of falling through the cracks on some of the bigger programs that are out there.
Thank you, Representative Hudella. Representative Greenman.
Excuse me, thank you. And I'd also like to thank Mr. McKenna and Representative Hudella, who actually, after we talked about every third Saturday, said, let me talk to Tom and figure out how we can actually support every third Saturday. And so I appreciate the partnership. And, you know, when as listening to the testimony, when I think about the real power is, right, working with, we have the programs and the veteran service organizations and the programs out of MDVA, and figuring out where the gaps are, where the needs are, and where the needs are as it relates to people and communities. And then the other thing I'd say, and just encourage and welcome, would love, I'm sure that Tom would give you the same tour that he gave me, but for folks to come, because it really is, and if you look at their website and you sort of hear community is first, and really talking about building community veterans, building community within the neighborhood. And so it is both directly serving folks, and I think sort of the transformative effect of building a community is really on display. So we ask for your support.
Good. Thank you, Representative Greenman. Are there any questions, comments? Does anyone else in the audience want to say a few words? Representative Weens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Greenman. Thank you, Representative Hudella, and Mr. McKenna. 3 years ago, Butch Whitehead from DAV said, you've got to see this guy. He's filling the gap in a way that nobody else does. And your testimony today really, I mean, it cleared it up, I think, for many of us that realize that no matter how if we put a lot of money out there, but we don't put it in the right place, or we don't give it to the right people, it doesn't happen. Your buddy checks at the team and the squad level are filling that gap. And I was proud to come down and visit and see your mobile van and all the stuff you do, and then drop off a ton of masks for you guys. And Charlie Mike, brother. Charlie Mike. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Representative Weeds. Anyone else? Seeing no further discussion, House File 2373 is laid over for possible inclusion. And now, Representative Greenman, you have House File 2374.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sticking in the neighborhood. I move that House File 2374 be referred to the Committee on Bonding. And I have an amendment, Mr. Chair.
Representative Greenman, if you would present us with your amendment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is just an author's amendment. It is the A1 amendment, just updates the cost with some language.
Okay. Is there any discussion relating to the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of adopting the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Okay, we have before us House File 2374 as amended. Representative Greenman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill appropriates $18,896,000 in fiscal year 2024 to rehabilitate and remodel the historic Building 6 at the Minneapolis Veterans Home in my district. We were just talking about it. For folks who haven't been to the Minneapolis Veterans Home yet, would love to have you come visit. It's on a beautiful spot right near the Mississippi River, near Minnehaha Falls. It was originally constructed in 1887 for indigent Civil War veterans and currently houses 291 veterans in both skilled nursing home facilities and then 50 domiciliary beds. And it's home to veterans from across the Twin Cities. As you have heard in this committee, we've talked about the demand is greater than the supply for beds right now in our veterans' homes. And rehabilitating Building 6 is a key step to expanding the number of beds in the Twin Cities to deal with the wait list and to serve the veterans who need it. Given the age and the continuous use of the campus, there are many needs for repair and rehabilitation, but none more than Building 6. It can't sit empty, and right now, because of the HVAC issues, the plumbing issues, the infrastructure is shot. It's sitting empty. When I toured Building 6 with Commissioner Herkey and Ben Johnson and others and the leadership of the Minneapolis Veterans Home in January, right before session, and we went up there, it was unbearably hot. You could sort of visibly see the impact of a flooding incident years earlier. It's just currently not usable, and so we either, what I heard was we either need to spend the resources to tear down a historic building or to spend the resources to rehabilitate it and offer 36 more skilled nursing beds with single rooms and sort of up to the standard that we've been talking about in our homes that are comfortable, that have single-use bathrooms. The $19 million of one-time expenditure would fund the design, the rehabilitation, and renovation costs to rehab the building and serve additional veterans with more privacy and comfort. This expenditure represents 30% of the project costs and authorizes Commissioner Herkey to apply for the remaining 70% to be matched by the federal government. There's an important investment in providing more access to care, comfort, and comfort in the Minneapolis Veterans Home. It is this is an important home that has long offered an important space for our veterans community. In a time of surplus, I think that this is a smart one-time investment, and I would ask you for your support. And with that, I believe, Mr. Chair, MDVA's Deputy Commissioner Hughes is here, maybe here to speak on the project.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes? Good afternoon, Commissioner. Please identify yourself for the record and then proceed
My
with your
name is
testimony.
Douglas Hughes, Deputy Commissioner, Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs Healthcare. Thank you for inviting me, Chair Newton. I'm certainly can answer any questions that anyone has.
I'll start with one, Commissioner. This approximately $19 million, that's 1/3 of the total cost of the renovation. Is that correct?
So when I did my calculations, if we look at the total cost right now, and we've been doing these just in the last few days, we're estimating that the total cost would be about $51.5 million, and then multiply that by 0.35, because the state's 35% and the feds are 65%. So I think it's just shy of $18 million that the state
Okay.
would be putting in.
Good, thank you, Commissioner. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? This is something that I've been concerned about, as you know, Commissioner, for years, and it's been a point of contention over the last few years. But it's so important to get that home up and running with the number of veterans that we have on the waiting list to get into the Minneapolis home. So I'll just leave it at that, but this is important for me.
So, Chair Newton, the only thing I would like to add is that, if there's anything that we can do to solve the healthcare worker shortage, because if we don't have healthcare workers, we can't admit. Currently, we have 300 beds at the Minneapolis Veterans Home, as someone testified before, and we can't fill all those beds because of the staffing shortage. And we're no different than anyone in the state. As everyone knows, there's a long-term care, healthcare crisis, so we need to do both.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any questions, comments? Representative Bliss.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the author, can you tell me where does this fit on the MDVA's priority list?
Chair or Representative Greenman.
Thank you for the promotion, Mr. Chair. I know that they're looking at, there's a lot of rehab and repairing our veterans' homes is there's a long list. So I couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you is when I was there in January with the Senate chair, that what Commissioner Herkey said is either we're going to have to do a rehabilitation or we're going to have to tear it down. And as somebody who knows, if you've been there, the idea of missing that opportunity for additional beds, and also doing it on a campus that is well situated to provide for the veterans in the Twin Cities, which is where we know most of the demand right now is.
Are there any other comments or questions? Does anyone in the audience like to testify? Mr. Diamond, please identify yourself for the record.
Thank you. Tom Diamond, Army veteran. I'd like to speak in support of this. This is a very important project. It's a little bit of a misnomer to list this as an expansion of 39 beds, because it actually is bringing back lost beds. This is a 100-bed facility that was serving our veterans, but because of damage, because pipes broke and other damage, it is not providing services to our veterans. And the reality is that we're having a backlog of a year at this facility to get care, and it's now in the 2-year category to get care. These are veterans. When you need skilled care nursing, these are veterans who have served their country, who largely cannot function out there in public because of medical conditions that are very severe and very debilitating. And for them not to be able to get care, well, to be perfectly honest, what has happened is in more than one case, veterans have been waiting so long to get care at that facility that they've died before they've ever got any care. And that's just inexcusable from my perspective, and really sad that we have this facility that's sitting there, but for the lack of putting the resources in to get it back in operation, to provide some of those beds, really is not what we should be doing. So thank you for considering this.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond. Is there anyone else like to testify? Okay, seeing none. Let's see, we're going to re-refer this bill then to House Capital Investment Committee. Good. All in favor of moving this bill to House Capital Investment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it is on its way. And now, Representative Hudella, we have your House File 1639.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Hudella.
I'm sorry.
She said Representative Hudella, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. So I'm presenting House File 1639, huge project for the Minnesota Veterans Home in Hastings. The Veterans Home is the largest VA home outside of Minneapolis in the state of Minnesota. It's a building that was built at the turn of the century, shortly after 1900. The building was used as a state mental hospital for decades before being turned over to Veterans Affairs to house veterans. The big problem is it's fallen apart. And our veterans deserve better, much like the bill that we just heard. We need to make an investment to bring the second largest veterans home in our state back to livable conditions where veterans aren't sharing a room, where they're not sharing a communal bathroom with toilets and showers that are used by 6 or more veterans. So I believe MDVA is going to testify as well on this to the need. Our appropriation of the just under 78 million is also a 35% part of the overall budget cost. The federal government is going to pick up the other 65%. So massive, massive project, but one that we desperately need to get done.
Good, thank you, Representative Hudella. And you have testifiers, I understand?
I talked to Ben Johnson. I don't see
Mr.
him.
Hughes, is Mr. Hughes, Commissioner Hughes still here if you'd like to testify?
If you can help me out, I'd appreciate it, Deputy Commissioner.
Okay. Got the musical chairs all set up here. Commissioner Hughes, please.
Chair Newton, members of the committee, with me today I have Mike Anderson, who is the administrator of the Minneapolis and Hastings domiciliary program. He's been in this position since, I'd say for about 4 years now, and we're here to take any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Anderson, if you'd like to identify yourself for the record, then proceed with your testimony.
Hello, Chair, Representatives. Mike Anderson, Administrator of the Minnesota Veterans Home Hastings Domiciliary Program that oversees both Hastings and the Minneapolis DOMS program.
Good. You know, why don't we open it up to questions if anyone on the committee has questions of any of the testifiers? I'll start with one. The funding at 77 million, is that full funding of the home? Or is that the 1/3 funding?
That's the 35% of the state share, and then we would be looking to the federal government for the remaining 65%.
So that's over $200 million, and the home houses a maximum of 200 domiciliary patients. Is that correct?
Chair and Representatives, we are licensed for 200 beds. That's correct.
Okay. And is the intent to design this building to house all 200? Mr. Anderson?
Chair and Representatives, the new building will house 144 beds.
Okay. So just to get this straight, we're spending well over $200 million for 140 vets. Is that correct?
Chair Newton and committee, yes, that's the commissioner's desire.
Okay. When I first saw this bill, I just have to say I thought that it was for the full cost of the facility, and even at that would be roughly $500,000 a room, which is pretty expensive. And when we saw the earlier bill that Representative Howard brought forth with Mr. Tinklenberg, I believe the cost in that was in the neighborhood of 140 something like that. But it was a lot less for 200, So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if members of the committee have any feelings about that or any concerns, but if you do, I'd appreciate it if you'd speak up. Representative Weens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Rep. Hudella, and testifiers. Can you tell us what the breakdown is, maybe by disability rating or services provided to the 140 or so folks? And a follow-up question would be, are there other services that are like outpatient services that will be done at the facility as well?
Chair Newton,
Commissioner,
members of the committee, that's kind of a complex question. So we'll start with.
I'm known for complex questions, so just if you get the best you can, I think, on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, I've been here in my position for over 6 years, and I know the DOMS pretty well. And that is that the domiciliary program is the most comprehensive domiciliary program in the country. When we toured VA Secretary McDonough, approximately a year plus, pretty much right after his appointment, he was very impressed with the program. We named it the Minnesota model because we have medical providers, we have social workers, we have behavior analysts, we have drug and alcohol counselor, we have psychologists, behavior. We have a large group, and besides nursing, other services. So we're pretty much the only domiciliary facility like this in the country, and that's why we've named it the Minnesota model when we requested to the federal VA to raise the federal per diem for the domiciliary program. If your question relates to reimbursement related to their service connection disability, or is it just their service connection disability?
No, I'll take the other portion. I think, Mr. Chair, what I'm trying to get at is this is not just a housing program like what was happening over in Richfield. There's something else that is done here, and it sounds and I have not visited the Hastings, and I'm looking forward to doing that see the Minnesota model, but it's a holistic approach, and just from my experience at the federal VA here in Minneapolis, they've done some groundbreaking things. They've had issues like the federal VA has had issues in accountability and serving the population they're supposed to be serving. But through the variety of different outreach programs, they've come up with that team approach where you've got each veteran gets a surge of the right type of personnel or therapist, whether it's for behavioral or if it's for chemical dependency or whatever physical things that they have. And I think that's what you're getting at, and that's kind of what I wanted to hear, is that we're buying this whole approach, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Representative Hudella.
Thank you, Chair, and Representative Weens. Great question. I know the Hastings campus does provide some very unique things that you may not find at some of the other VA facilities around the state. One of them, a few years ago, they piloted a program that helped integrate some of the veterans back into the workforce in a great program. But I wanted to address too Chair Newton's concern just on it is an expensive renovation, there's no doubt about it, and I think some of those extended costs deal with why it's more expensive in some regards is demolition of the existing facility and then rebuilding. And I think part of a little bit of drop in those beds ties to the other new facilities that we're opening in Minnesota here right now. The three in particular that will be able to house some of those folks that might have otherwise ended up in Hastings.
Thank you. Representative Blitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. In regards to the cost, I just did a quick calculation on the veterans homes we just built a few years ago. Actually, they'll be open this summer. My calculation was about $750,000 per bed. you factor in a little bit more for inflation, so we're probably up close to $1 million per bed. And those are being built from the ground up on blank land. How much, I'm assuming that the care that this place provides is a little bit different than what the standard veterans home do, so the cost is going to be elevated a little bit there. And then also the asbestos and that type of stuff. That I know from other experience in raising buildings that's very expensive to deal with. So I don't know how much the difference in cost between the $750,000 on building just on a blank piece of land on a standard home.
Commissioner, or Mr. Anderson, do you?
Chair Newton, members of the committee, right now, we'll take, for example, the Montevideo home, one of the new homes that's opening up probably after the fair ends, is somewhere around $43 million for the facility that'll house 72 skilled nursing beds. So that's a skilled nursing facility, just like any other skilled nursing facility that someone might be in. The domiciliary program, the veterans are pretty much independent. They have some of those needs that the representative mentioned before, and that's what we do. We provide that comprehensive care for them, and one of the goals, so when Mike started, he came up with 3 different paths, and if you would like him to talk about the 3 different paths for each individual veteran to meet them where they are, and to have their goals whatever path they so choose. It's been, I believe, a very successful approach to meeting veterans' needs that have come into the domiciliary program.
Good. Mr. Anderson, would you like to talk about that?
Chair and members of the committee, absolutely. So when we started off and created the program that we continue to work with today, it's where we are a supportive environment that fosters a stable, healthy, and meaningful life for veterans. Where we are 1 program, 2 sites, and 3 paths, where we look at how we meet the resident and the veteran for what they need. One of the first paths is the Earth Path, where those residents who are choosing to make the DOMS their home, domiciliaries, we've shortened it down to DOMS as it gets to be a mouthful there, that they're choosing to make that their home. So what are they looking for? So how do we continue to make sure that there's a lot of living happening and continuing to maintain their sobriety, to work on their health, continue with all of their regular appointments, continue with their medication management to get healthier, because we want them, if they want to live there as long as they can, we have to make sure that they're healthy. So getting all of the medical treatment that they need from our nurse practitioners and everyone to stay there as long as they possibly can and to function. And about 85% of the residents in the program are involved in our work therapy program. So not only do we want to make sure that they're healthy and moving around, making it to all meals, making it to all of the recreational activities and finding meaning in their life as, we get past the stability points and want them to be passionate about their photography that they're working on, or computers and gaming. They can do more on the computer than I can. It's really impressive stuff. And then also we have the water path, where it's the mental and chemical and supporting the needs that they have there to make sure that they are comfortable and getting all the services that they need. And the fire path, where we work with them on everything that they need to transition back into the community and have gainful employment and be successful out there. So we work on all of those different areas and have found a lot of success in all 3 different paths and meeting the residents for where they're at, what they need, whether they're coming from being homeless and walking in or a stable situation, and we're honored to provide care for them each and every day.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Representative Greenman, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And can I just ask a clarifying question? Because I just, how much is the total? So the 77 million is the state share or is the total share? And how much is if that's not right, how much is the total share?
Well, the estimate right now is somewhere around 225 million for the entire campus.
Okay.
And so, like I say, when I did the math on that, it's somewhere shy of 80 million would be the state's portion for the reconstruction of the entire campus.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, and thank you, Mr. Chair. And I did get a chance when former Representative Jurgens was here. He took a bunch of us on the Veterans Committee down to the Hastings. We went with the commissioner and deputy commissioner. And it is clear that when we looked at and having a chance to talk about some of the upgrades that have happened at the Minneapolis Veterans Home, single beds, or single rooms, private bathrooms, some of the things that I think we would all want to have in terms of that privacy and comfort, know that that's part of the thing. I do sort of share the chair's concern about it's just a lot of money to lose beds, but I also know, and having been there, and I know that Representative Jurgens was a huge advocate and got all of us to sign on to his bill. I see that his former seatmate, former representative, and now Commissioner Keith Franke is here as well. Just wanted to, but in all seriousness, I think that we have to do something, and I know that the commissioner and the department and the administration have chosen this route, but I do share. I think the chair is just sort of concerns about the resources that it'll take.
Thank you. Representative Clardy?
Well, she took my question. But I guess a follow-up, is it only veterans that are in this facility? Okay, and I have also seen the facility, so I know that it does need upgrades, definitely.
Commissioner Hughes or Mr. Anderson?
The age range. Chair, members of the committee, the age ranges that we currently have in the DOMS program range between 41 and 99 for the residents living there.
And they're all vets?
Everyone is a veteran currently.
Okay, good. Are there any other questions or comments? And this is, a discussion that's going to be continued. And I'm from the old brown boot army, and I'm just amazed when we're going to pay $500 million to renovate this building. And this is small change, and it benefits veterans. So I'm just constantly amazed at the cost of things. But thank you for the informational hearing, and good luck with moving this forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is it for today. Representative Clardy is not going to be presenting her bill today. So with that, the meeting is adjourned.